Hello there, thank you for staying with us on the AM show. Time now for our news review, and we're joined by Kojo Poku, energy analyst. Kojo, a very good morning to you. Please unmute, Kojo, so we can hear you.
Oh, sorry, I'm on mute. I'm not muted.
Great. I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Right. How was your weekend?
It was exhausting. Let me leave it that way.
Benji, you always have a story to tell. Why is that?
Well, I guess I dabble in many things.
Well, I had a very hectic weekend. I went to see some good friends of mine in the Western North, the friends of KMP. Went very well.
I see. When you say friends here, that didn't have anything to do with politics. I mean, nowadays, when I think of you going round, I always think Kojo is up to something. So tell us, were you up to any politics in there?
Well, yes. Since my announcement that I would definitely be on the run for the MPP leadership, I think there are various youth around the world who has formed Friends of KMP, and their slogan is KMP, Voice of the People. And it was very exciting to go to Sefi Bakwa and meet some wonderful young people. My greetings to them this morning, and it was very insightful.
It was very insightful. Since we're talking politics, let me just divert your mind to this. And I know I'm putting you in a bit of a corner. Our very own editor right here, Araba Kumsin, put together something on the state of the economy. It has to do with some promises that were made by then member of the NPP, now Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. Some claims that were made, Ghanaians are suffering, nurses are suffering, and all of that. The bit about the fact that if your fundamentals economically are weak, the exchange rate will expose you, and even bits about the fact that mobile money transactions should never be taxed. If you've not seen that yet, for those of you who have not seen that editorial put together by Araba Kumsin, you should check it out on JoyNews. It's on our Facebook feed. But
no, it's gone viral. So
it's gone viral. So you've seen it?
Yes, I've seen it.
Great. So it makes my work even more easy. When you look at that and you put that side by side with the fact that we're faced with the economic hardships that we're going through, and some saying that the economic management team of the MPP has failed, how does it strike you? Fair?
Well, I have always said that politics and religion are cousins. The difference between politics and religion, where they differ, is that in religion, we have faith and things that are said, nobody has died and come back and able to tell us that whether it's true there's life after death or not. The thing with politics is that you make all these utterances and you are given the chance to come in for the 4 years. People have a chance to judge you and see that what you said and what is happening, is it true or not? And unfortunately, we have a situation where our brother, our father, the vice president have said certain things, which is in contrary to what is happening. And people are right to point it out. There is nothing wrong with holding people accountable for their words. And I think that if you watch the video, it's quite telling. But for me, I think the bit where I also plead on behalf of our brother, our father, the vice president, is that, look, he is not the president. He is the vice president. Yes, he is the head of the economic management team. I think he oversold some of the messages at that time. Look, in class, in economic theories, there isn't just one theory for every situation. You might have multiple theories that might come into play depending on the circumstances of the day. So he sold a theory that did not pan out the way we all wanted it to pan out. I don't think the vice president wanted ill for this country. He honestly believed in the message that he was giving out at that time. A point at best, I think it's unfortunate that things have gone the way they are. But at the appropriate time, I think he should come out and explain himself why it didn't go the way he thought it would have gone, and what are some of the conversations around that. But there's nothing wrong with people just opposing what you said and what you said. And that's what makes politics different from religion, because the faith we had in him, he said what he said, he's come into power for 5 years now, and we are seeing differently. So, well, it's right. The comparison, there's nothing wrong with that.
Staying on that tangent, do you feel this calls for more honesty in our politics? And I use candidness and honesty in that particular perspective, because guess what? Some people simply feel aggrieved because they feel, Kojo, that you said these things. You should be able to come out and say, oh, I did say these things, but guess what? There are different economic dynamics to look at in terms of the situation we're facing. And so this and that. But people feel he is simply evading the matter altogether, completely, not even, touching on it. And some people feel very aggrieved by that. Is that valid?
Yes, honesty is very important. And a typical example, when I went to meet the youth of Western North in Bekwai, in Sefi Bekwai, one of the things they said was that I spoke for like 30 minutes, but I didn't want to bore them with a lot of things. And I kept it very brief. What the underlying conversation was that, look, everything coming out of your mouth, we've heard it over and over and over. What is it that if we now support you and you go to Accra and become what you want to become, you would even pick our calls, you would even reply to our text messages? And the cardinal call to every politician, like you said, is honesty. Let's not overpromise. Let's not say things we are not sure of. And I believe that when people are in opposition, they don't engage a lot with the government mechanism to know the true state of affairs. If you go to the UK, there is the shadow chancellor, of the Exchequer. There is the shadow foreign affairs minister. All these people are not just sitting at home and being the shadow of maybe the chancellor or the. They are aware. They ask for information. They get data. They get information. So when they make a position, in the UK, when there is a budget, the Labour government would also come out with their own budget, which if they were in government, this is what we would do. Right. So I think we've gone past the stage where people are just mentioning numbers and saying things without knowing the true fact on the ground. We should make an effort. Politicians should make an effort.
But there's a problem in there. There's a problem in there. And that quick problem is the fact that, for example, now it is said that our debt to GDP has hit over 80%, 80.1% to be precise. The likes of Dr. Kasialato Forsen have said over time that we've been over 80% even before now, and that some figures were being massaged and hidden here. So when you say that, even, for example, trying to imitate that practice where a government in waiting, so to speak, would have an alternative budget, for example, or an alternative plan based on what facts and figures, when you think that the facts and figures are not even what are being put out. Do you get what I mean?
No, but the point I'm making is that they have also been in government. Look, the people at the Ministry of Finance and the people in government are more welcoming than you think. If they want the facts and figures, they will give it to them. If you call the Ministry of Finance and look, the NDC case, Alato Forsen and all the people in NDC have been in the Ministry of Finance before. They have people they've worked with at the Ministry of Finance. If they want the information, they will get it. In the energy sector, the likes of John Jinapo has worked in the Ministry of Energy. NDC, MPP have all been into the ministries. They know people, they employ people. They can easily get this information if they honestly want to do that. But my brother, what we do in Ghana is just shout and praise, propaganda. Nobody wants to tell the actual truth. If they want to tell the truth, they can tell the truth. When the NDP, look, everybody is saying that e-levy, NDC is 100% opposed to e-levy. I want to throw this challenge to them on your show. Why don't they come out and tell us what if they were in power today and we are faced with the situation we are faced now? What would they put in place to increase tax revenue? Because we all know the government is broke. And they want to be the alternative.
To be fair, yes, they do admit government is broke, but they have always given it alternatives. They have said, cut down on executive spending, for example, looking at presidential staffers. You can cut down on the number of vehicles that are being used. So basically, you can cut down on expenditure, not just the executive, but across the board. And some have said that is minimal, but they have also suggested, among other things, that you can cut down on certain other aspects of our economy. And if it means scaling down, the 20% that the finance ministry is telling us has been cut down, or up to 30%, like some would intimate, they say they are not seeing that. They are saying that there are certain things we can do to cushion the economy rather than going for the e-levy. And they talk about more stringent economic management. I mean, just to be fair, on this show, they have mentioned all of these things.
Ben, these are English. Stringent economic measures. What are the stringent economic? They should lay it down to us. What are the stringent economic measures?
They say we should stem the tide of corruption, for example, the waste that goes into corruption.
Let me be honest with you. Look, this thing where people say that you need to cut down on expenditure, executive, blah, blah, blah. Let's put it in perspective. Our total revenue is 60 billion. Okay? As per the budget read in 2022, we needed, as per what the Ministry of Finance want to do, we need about 150 billion to do all the things the government said. Let's say all the 152 billion is not needed, okay? There are a lot of constituencies, a lot of regions who said that what they wanted to do was not even in the budget, even at 152 billion. Now, what I'm saying is that cutting down on Land Cruiser executive expenditure, that takes you into at most 100 million Ghana cedis. This is not what we are talking about. What government needs is billions of cedis. So our revenue is 60 billion. Our salary is 30 billion. Our interest is 24 billion. That makes it 54 billion cedis that we don't have any control over. So take that out. It's only left with 6 billion. What extra revenue are you going to generate with including of that 6 billion? And what are you going to do for Ghanaians with that 6 billion if you don't intend to raise any more revenue or borrow? And if you intend to borrow, how much do you intend to borrow? Because the minimum, you will need about 100 billion Ghana cedis, which is about 40 billion more, to do some of the things you want to do in terms of development in this country. So let's not let people come and tell us that, oh, cut executive spending and cut Land Cruiser. That at most is 100 million Ghana cedis, right? We are talking, how much are you going to get extra 5-10 billion Ghana cedis to do your development? Because what you have available to you is only 6 billion. Okay, are you saying to Ghanaians that you're going to go through the next 4 years if you come into power using just 6 billion? Tell us. Are you going to borrow? Tell us. How much would you borrow? Those are the details we need from them, not just I'm opposed to e-levy. Because look, the government needs money. How are you going to raise that money? Cutting the cut.
So interesting questions there. Interesting questions. We also know about that cabinet retreat, and the Daily Graphic captures that on pages 32 and 49. And it says the president has sanctioned some major reliefs as part of efforts to recover the economy and set it back to its pre-COVID-19 levels. The reliefs include the opening of the country's land borders, the easing of general COVID-19 restrictions, and measures to arrest the depreciation of the cedi. So some detail in there. It is expected that in the coming days, President Akufo-Addo, the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, other sector ministers, as well as the Bank of Ghana, will provide details on the reliefs. For now, we just know that there are measures to tackle rising fuel prices occasioned by the global economic turmoil brought on by the Russia-Ukraine conflict, and measures to address the persistent rise in the prices of goods and services. Before you come in, I'd just like to quote American President Joe Biden, who tweeted recently, "Oil prices are decreasing. Gas prices should too." We know what the Americans refer to when it comes to gas, what they call gas. But how do you feel that should resonate with us, even in terms of our tax mix on petroleum products?
Well, the good news is that as Joe Biden just tweeted, the next window, we are going to see a very big reduction in the petrol prices. If the cedi, as the president has directed, we get the Bank of Ghana to strengthen the cedi. Look, if the cedi comes back to about maybe even 7 or 6.8, okay, we would be able to reverse the 20% increase that we had last week. That can easily be reversed because in the international prices, all the international market has reversed. And the MPA forward benchmark shows that we are going to have about 16 to 15% in the petroleum side. And if we can get about 5% reduction or 10% strengthening of the cedi, we can reverse the 20% increase that happened this window. That said, a lot depend on the cedi basically having strength. Some of us have said, and we want to repeat it to Bank of Ghana. I'm told that when the MPA discussed this with Bank of Ghana, they are shrugging it off. Bank of Ghana needs to have a desk for petroleum products. I don't think that we can repeat that enough. I think I'm hearing the Bank of Ghana think that petroleum products is not the only trading that happens in Ghana. I'm sorry to tell them, they are mistaken. It's the most important trading that happens in Ghana. Okay? If somebody is not telling them, I will tell them. Bank of Ghana should know that petroleum trading is the most important trading that happens in Ghana. If they can't find dollar for the OMCs and the BDCs, the average Ghanaians suffer. They suffer. We all suffer. The economy suffer. So I don't see why the Bank of Ghana would think that they won't provide this desk that we've been calling for. They should provide a desk for downstream trading. It's as simple as that. Without that, Ghanaians will continue suffering.
Let's look at other stories in the Daily Graphic. Africa must invest against pandemics. Dr. Nkengasong says so. He is director of the Africa Center for Disease Control and Prevention. There's also CDS urges parties in conflict to cease fire. And in recent times, we've had Boku incidents, as well in there, among other stories. You can check out more details from the Daily Graphic newspaper. But let's do the Daily Guide newspaper now. Businessman warns encroachers. That's on page 6 of the paper. And I didn't directly request $50,000. That's according to Bagbin. There's also government to pump $2 billion to rescue the Cedi land borders to reopen. This was something that I was putting to the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kumebwaje, recently. And we'll soon be out of the woods. That's according to those sharing thoughts about the outcome of that confab over the weekend. But I don't know. I would have reserved this for last, but let me just sneak it by you. The 25th and the 29th of March, of course, we know what's going to happen. The Black Stars versus the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Some are calling it a Jollof Derby. I don't know whether you've heard some of the trolls. Let me try. I think I just might find some of them. Yes, here they are. 2 from Yakubu Ayegbeni, former Nigerian international. And he says, just imagine Nigeria not qualifying for the World Cup. Ghana not qualifying for the World Cup is not a big deal. That's what he says. Again, we have about 9 strikers. Ghana doesn't have strikers, so we can even share some with them. Are the Nigerians, do you feel, being too cocksure? And what are you expecting come the 25th and the 29th?
Well, I think the Ghana-Nigeria football match is not about the football. It's about the name of the game. It's about Nigeria-Ghana. You know, the spirit of the two countries. It's like Accra House of Folk and Kotoko. It's like a derby, Everton and Liverpool. It doesn't matter how well Liverpool plays in a derby. Everton will always come up with something with the noise and everything. It's like all the derbies that goes around the world. Look, Ghana, Nigeria is historic. Lucky for me, I'm going to be in Kumasi, so it's going to be very exciting. I think Ghana will take the day. We are going to have the home advantage, and we will serve them the Ghana jollof after we have beaten them, and they would basically just console themselves when we now put a bit of shito on the side. Because the one thing Ghanaians don't know is that Nigerians don't have shito, and we sit in Ghana and we don't even export our shito to Nigeria. I take shito to my friends in Nigeria, and they call for more all the time. So we should serve them the Ghana jollof. Maybe we could do that in the afternoon and then let them have a bit more of the Ghana jollof with the shito on the side so that in the evening they will play well.
So we are going to be serving them, and if it's going to be shito, then it must be pakpo shito that will serve them.
Well, one of the things you'll be surprised is Nigerians eat pepper very well than we do. They like a lot of pepper, so there's no amount of pepper you put in their food that would irritate them. That one would be a very bad thing to do.
So we must serve them the nice one, eh?
Serve them the sweeter one. I think that will irritate them more than the kaku, but they are used to the kaku.
Ayo. Time will tell how things pan out for the Black Stars, but let's do the Ghanaian Times newspaper quickly. CID investigates shooting alleged murder of 2 in Wa. And I want to bring this up because it's fast becoming our reality. Boku, then Wa. And I've seen, statements of concern on the back of some of these developments that have not been successfully nipped in the bud. From time to time, they flare up, people are killed and maimed and all of that. But per the story, the CID of the Ghana Police Service has commenced investigations into the shooting incident that claimed the lives of 2 people in Wa in the Upper West region last Thursday. The deceased had been identified as Stephen Mane, 64, retired lecturer at the Dr. Hila Liman Technical University, and Idris Al-Hassan, 46, an administrative staff of the Simon Diedong Dombo University of Business and Integrated Development Studies. And these developments that keep cropping up are a big worry. Your quick reaction to that?
Well, it is, especially with the area Boku, where for me, I always say that Boku is my adapted home. This war and this conflict and this clashes in Boku has been going on for far too long. And it's time that we find a very lasting solution. If we're able to find a lasting solution to the Yendi crisis, I'm sure the president, before he leaves office, should try and find a lasting solution to the Boko crisis. The police should have a very big intelligence gathering in the northern part of the country. For mine, the little that I read, there is a lot of ammunition in the north, okay? And we need a lot of plainclothes detectives who will basically be able to mingle among the community to gather these intelligence for the police and the CID to be able to flash out these points before it happens. That is the most important thing. Good security should be seamless. Having police barriers and all these things, you are only telling people to evade them. We should have a very good plainclothes system where there's people embedded in the community who can bring out information for us to get to the heart of the matter quickly before it flares up.
Let's do Republic Press as we get ready to wind down. Two more papers and then we shall call it a review. Equiapim North NPP boils as Dokwa returns to court to block a possible Sambiku incursion. And the story there, just to give you some snippets, some disgruntled members of the MPP in the Equiapim North constituency of the Eastern region have rejected the ongoing polling station executives and electoral area coordinators election over claims of national security interference and widespread manipulation. The group, mainly comprising supporters of the incumbent member of parliament, complained that the election was characterized by irregularities, which amounted to a clear violation of the spirit of free and fair elections. Get more details from Republic Press. But what do you make of this, Kojo? I am guilty with an explanation. Bakavomao has written to the trial judge. He says he knew even before he touched down in Ghana, because he had been hinted that he was going to be arrested, that he had prepared himself mentally for that. But he says, I am guilty with an explanation. Anything explainable about what he did? And by the way, let me just add this. He has also spoken about the piss poor treatment meted out to him, supposedly, according to him, by the police when it comes to even food and all of that. And he's saying that we need some serious reform. Quick reaction.
Well, for me, I think that he should mind his words. I mean, Otran says, look, your liberty ends where your nose ends. I mean, people say that, oh, freedom of speech. Yes, freedom of speech, be mindful of your freedom of speech. You can't go around, especially when you don't sit in the country and you sit out in the UK and you say all sort of things and then come into the country thinking that you can make a statement. Look, right. You can make a meaningful change in this country without utterances some of these words. I mean, I have been on TV and radio for 12 years. You've never heard me utter anything that would even to the extent of even insult. But I'm able to get my word across and try to effect change when I have to. You don't need to say all those things just to get that public attention. It's needless. He should know that Ghana is a peaceful country. I don't know when he left Ghana, but he should know that now that he's back, Ghana is a peaceful country. We don't need war. We don't need coup d'etats. We don't need any of those things to make changes that we need. We will do it in the right way, and in 2024, we'll do it through the ballots. Right.
Let's wrap with the BNFT. British High Commissioner pays working visit to ZPay. Policy rate hike could hurt equities market. Aggregators will unlock Agric's potential under AFTA. And debt to GDP crosses dreaded 80% mark. Well, some countries have way more than 100%, but of course the economies are not exactly the same. As we wrap the conversation, Kojo, we have this thing called the Living Standard series. I just want to find out, what is your current living standard? What are you doing to manage these economic times? Fuel prices, cost of living, cost of everything. What is Kojo doing to manage?
Well, driverless, only go to important meetings. There's Zoom. If you don't have to go there, don't go there. There's no point wasting petrol when you don't have money to refill it. The problem, I don't think, is with us that have our own cars. The problem with the commuters who commute and the trotro drivers who have to buy the fuel for that purpose. You know, they have to buy the fuel for business, and they have to make a return on that expensive fuel that they are basically not being allowed to charge the recoverable prices. So for me, that is where the problem is. I don't think Kojo Poku is the one that people think of, because look, at the end of the day, I will get by. I just have to cut down on some expenditures and just basically fasten the belt and just basically make sure that I get my head above water. But it's very unfortunate, like you said, that other countries have big GDP to debt ratios, but the economy is much bigger. The problem we have had in Ghana is that we borrowed heavily, thinking that the GDP would expand greatly because of the oil find. Like I said the last time we spoke, we've taken our eyes off the oil find. We've taken our eyes off exploration. We are not being aggressive with that space. So that space is declining. And as a result, it is really not giving us the needed benefit that we're supposed to have.
Right.
If today Ghana was doing about 600,000 barrels per the oil find, my brother, we will be doing so great. Ghana is the only country that we had a very weak currency before finding of oil. 12 years after finding oil, we still have a weak currency. It tells you that there's a lot that has gone wrong in the last 12 years. Interesting
thought there. Thank you so much, Kojo. Always refreshing.
All right, thank you, and have a lovely week.
Same to you. And that's how we wrap the news review this morning. Up next, though, everything you need to know in the world of sports. That's up next. Stay.